Hey, Nish here, and today we're taking a look at a template I made that could be useful to yoga teachers or experienced practitioners. It uses Notion, which is a free productivity tool. It can be used for a variety of things, but the thing I like to use it for is having these databases of documents. You can also check out another video which I have where I talk about how I use it in music and songs I'm learning. But anyway, if you're already familiar with Notion, you can just go straight to the template in the description. Otherwise, I'm going to talk through how I came up with it and the different fields and how you can use it. So this is the main page we have. It's basically a database with a bunch of fields. Now, I've primarily gone with using English for the pose names, but you could also sort by Sanskrit, for example, I've got here. So you can click these little arrows for sort and change the field by which you're sorting. So each of these rows is actually a page that you can open and look at a document. But for now, I'll focus on the fields I have. So I've got category, which is putting the poses into various categories that come from, I think, a yoga sequencing textbook I was looking at. So this is a pretty common taxonomy. You've got things like backward bending, forward bending. The good thing is on this field, you can add more than one. There's obviously some poses that are definitely combinations of two or more things. So let's say a balancing backward bending pose. You can easily add those in. You can add in more options here as well. You can just start typing like, I don't know, test category. And there we go. I've created that new category. And then you can also just click these three dots and delete or change the color if you like. Then I've got position, which is a much simpler categorization of just, is it a floor? Are you on the floor? Are you standing? Are you sitting? So it's just another way to split postures up, and this will make more sense when I talk about the views. Next, there's one I don't use that often. It's like the idea of having a base pose that certain poses build off. So for example, there's a lot of poses that start off Thunderbolt pose, Vajrasana, and that could be another way to split poses. So it's not one I use too much, and there's a lot of random stuff here. I might tidy this up before I share the template. Lastly, there's difficulty. So I've just got a 3-level difficulty thing. You could add more difficulties. Again, it's just another quick way to split up poses. So as I mentioned, each of these has its own page. So for here, you can see that you can open up, for example, downward dog. I can open that up and it will open up a document. Now, when you open one for the first time, it will be blank, and I've made some templates that you can use. So just mainly is this asana info page template. You can click that and it will load up that template in this document. So now that we've got it, it's a pretty simple page. It's just got a lot of headings and sets of bullet points. I like to use bullet points for this kind of stuff. And you can see it's stuff covering like how to enter the pose, how to exit, the alignment when you're in it, maybe cues that could be useful, adjustments. So these are things, you might not fill in all of these, but it's a way to split the information and make it easier to access. So I can show you an example just in my own copy of this. So for example, in fact, let's go to downward dog as well and see what I have on this page. So you can see I've got stuff about entering, I've got stuff about alignment, and this kind of gets built up. You know, you can learn things from different sources and combine them together in your little, this is your little encyclopedia, your personal one. So coming back, we can then just close the page and go back to our database. So I talked about views. This is one of the cool things. I think you can view the database in a lot of different ways. So I've made a few here that are pretty basic, but mainly for inspiration, and it's definitely something you should explore. So firstly, you can group by any of the fields you have. So the category field I have, which puts postures into their categories, I've used that here to put the poses into columns. And so instead of having the whole line, you just have little tiles, and it just means at a glance you can see what you have in each category. You can take this one step further if you press these 3 dots here. So at the moment we're grouped by category, but you can also subgroup by another different field you have. So if I go subgroup by difficulty, now not only am I grouping by category, but then within each category, I've split it into 3 levels of difficulty. So you can easily at a glance see what poses you have information on, and that could be useful when planning classes or sequences. So I'll just remove that subgrouping of difficulty, and we'll just go to none again. And then the other ones I've got, so again, it's a similar idea, using position as the way to split. And again, you could use this subgroup to split by position and then pose type as well. I can just show you what that would look like. So adding subgroup by category. And there you can see, I've got floor poses, floor back bending poses, and then maybe there's some sitting back bend poses and so on. You could have a lot of freedom here to put this into a format that's useful for you. And lastly, I've just got using the full table, which has all the fields in it, but again, grouping by this category. So the last thing I wanted to comment on while I'm inside any page in Notion, and this could be useful if you make another page that could be maybe where you're putting sequences together, is you can link to any of these pages you've made in the database. And you do that by pressing the @ symbol. It will open up this dialog. And now if I search for bow pose, for example, then here I can link to this field, this page that I have for bow pose. So maybe this is a page, let's just pretend it's a page where I'm putting a sequence together. Well, here directly, if I want to revise the queuing and things I have about bow pose, well, I just click that and I go straight to the page. Very useful to navigate around and access the fields you've made. So I certainly hope this is useful and you see some utility. I think it's also good to do this kind of thing on paper, but I like to have this in a digital format because, you can access it on any device, any computer, laptop, tablet, and it's also not going to get lost. And so I like it as a nice thing that you can build on, and I see it as something as your own personal encyclopedia that you can take the information you've learned from different sources and combine it here. So I really do hope it's useful. If you have any doubts or questions about how to use this, please let me know. If you have any cool ideas, please share as well, because I'm sure other people will have different ideas about different fields you could use, different views you could use, and I'd be really interested to see that. Okay, so thanks you very much for watching. Subscribe for more To The Point content, and I'll catch you in the next one.